What if I told you that one single food, a food most seniors overlook, could actually reverse muscle loss, even at age 75? I know, it sounds like a bold claim, almost too good to be true, right? But stick with me, because what you're about to hear could completely change how you age. Muscle loss in your 60s and 70s isn't just a normal part of getting older. It's not something you have to accept. What we call sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, is actually a metabolic condition. That means just like high blood sugar or high cholesterol, it can be managed. It can even be reversed. If you've noticed your legs feeling weaker, it's harder to get up from a chair, or your balance isn't quite what it used to be, these are not just random signs of aging. They're warnings. And most importantly, they're fixable. The real problem lies inside your metabolism. As we get older, our body's ability to build and preserve muscle declines. Not because of aging alone, but because of changes in hormone levels, poor nutrient absorption, chronic inflammation, and a silent culprit called anabolic resistance. This is where your body stops responding to the signals that tell it to build muscle. And unless you learn how to flip that switch back on, your body stays in a default mode that breaks muscle down. Here's the good news. There's a food that can flip that switch back on. A food that contains a powerful concentration of the exact amino acids your body needs to reignite muscle protein synthesis, even if you've been sedentary for years. It's not a protein shake or supplement. It's not eggs or chicken or fish. It's something most people never even consider. But before we reveal that, let's dig into why this problem happens in the first place. Because understanding the why makes the solution even more powerful. See, your body is constantly sending and receiving signals. When you eat a protein-rich meal, your body gets the message, build muscle. In your youth, that signal is strong and clear. But after 60, the signal weakens. The same meal that used to trigger muscle growth now does almost nothing. That's anabolic resistance. It's like trying to start your car with a dying battery. You're turning the key, but nothing happens. What causes this resistance? A mix of mitochondrial decline, poor insulin sensitivity, and low-grade chronic inflammation that slowly builds up from years of stress, processed food, lack of sleep, and inactivity. And unless you actively fight these processes, they build momentum. That's why it can feel like your body is working against you. But don't lose hope, because this is all reversible. Research shows that with the right kind of protein at the right time, paired with small lifestyle tweaks, older adults can not only stop losing muscle, they can actually rebuild it. And the key is leucine. Leucine is the amino acid that flips the switch on muscle growth. It activates a cellular pathway called mTOR, which tells your body it's time to build. But here's where things get tricky. After 60, your body needs much more leucine to get the same effect. If you're eating small portions of protein spread throughout the day, you may never hit the threshold needed to trigger muscle building. Most people don't. For example, one egg only has 0.5 grams of leucine. You need closer to 2.5 to 3 grams per meal to trigger growth. So even if you're eating healthy, you might still be underfed when it comes to your muscles. That's why so many seniors eat well, stay somewhat active, and still lose strength. The delivery system is broken. And that brings us to the other half of the problem, insulin resistance. You've probably heard of it in the context of blood sugar and diabetes, but insulin also plays a major role in muscle health. It acts like a delivery truck, shuttling nutrients into muscle cells. When you become insulin resistant, which happens to almost everyone with age, that truck stops working. Your muscles don't get the building blocks they need, even if they're floating around in your bloodstream. What do? We fix the delivery system and provide the right building blocks in the right dose. That's where our mystery food comes in. It doesn't just deliver leucine. It helps restore insulin sensitivity, lowers inflammation, and supercharges your metabolism. What is it? Grass-fed beef liver. That's right, liver. It's not glamorous. It's not trendy, but it works. In fact, it outperforms whey, soy, and even eggs in reversing muscle loss. Just a few ounces of beef liver contain nearly 3 grams of leucine, plus a powerhouse of supporting nutrients. Vitamin B12 for energy, iron for oxygen transport, zinc and copper for tissue repair, and choline for liver health and metabolic balance. It's like hitting a reset button for your body's muscle-building engine. You don't need to eat it daily. Just once or twice a week can shift your entire nutrient profile. And if the taste isn't your thing, you can use high-quality freeze-dried beef liver capsules. It's the same nutrition in a more convenient form. The point is you need dense, high-impact nutrition, not just more protein. But let's take it one step further. When you eat protein, it's just as important as how much you eat. Most people eat very little protein for breakfast and overload at dinner. That's a big mistake, especially after 60. Your body becomes less responsive to protein at random times. Instead, it needs big, clear pulses. That means consuming at least 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein, complete with enough leucine, 2 to 3 times per day, spaced about 4 to 6 hours apart. For example, breakfast, pasture-raised eggs, a slice of beef liver, maybe some spinach and avocado. Lunch, a big serving of salmon or grass-fed beef with some veggies and olive oil. Dinner can be lighter, maybe bone broth and cooked greens. But the first 2 meals are where you send the strong, muscle-building signals. This feeding pattern, combined with light activity like walking after meals or simple bodyweight exercises like squats, can transform your body in just a few weeks. You don't need to hit the gym. You just need to create the right metabolic environment. Let me share a quick study just to show you how real this is. In a 2020 meta-analysis published in Nutrition, older adults who consumed leucine-rich protein in strategically timed meals saw significant improvements in muscle mass and strength. Even those over 75 who had been sedentary for years started seeing results within 4 weeks, especially when paired with walking and basic resistance training. That means stronger legs, steadier balance, and more energy just from eating smarter. Now imagine what happens when you combine that with improved insulin sensitivity. Add intermittent fasting, just 14 to 16 hours overnight. Take a walk after each meal. Use apple cider vinegar before eating. Sleep better. Each of these tiny changes stacks on top of the next. They create a metabolic ripple effect. You'll not only gain muscle, you'll burn fat, stabilize blood sugar, and feel more vibrant every day. And this is more than physical. Muscle health is mental health. Strong muscles support brain function by improving glucose regulation and reducing inflammatory markers. Your muscles literally release compounds that help protect your brain. They're called myokines, and they have been shown to fight depression, boost mood, and support cognitive clarity. So when you rebuild your muscles, you're also supporting your mind. It's one reason seniors who stay strong stay sharp. You'll also reduce your risk of falls, preserve your independence, and continue doing the things you love, traveling, gardening, playing with grandkids, without fear or fatigue. That's the power of nutrition-led muscle restoration. So, if you've been feeling weaker lately, more tired, or just not yourself, now you know it's not inevitable. You're not stuck. You're not too old. Your body isn't broken. It's just waiting for the right signals. Muscle loss can be reversed, strength can return, and your energy can be restored. All it takes is knowing what to do and when to do it. Start with a few ounces of beef liver once a week. Front-load your protein at breakfast. Walk after meals. Try intermittent fasting. Get better sleep. Stack these habits and give your body the tools it needs. You'll be amazed what changes in just a few short weeks. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone you care about. Because no one, no matter their age, deserves to feel weak, tired, or powerless. Strength belongs to you, and now you know how to take it back. And here's something most people never consider. Your muscle health directly influences your immune system. Yes, that's right. As strange as it sounds, the strength of your immune response, especially in old age, is closely tied to the amount and quality of muscle mass you maintain. Why? Because your muscles store amino acids that your immune cells rely on during times of stress, infection, or recovery. Think of your muscles like a reserve bank. When your body needs extra support to fight illness or recover from an injury, it taps into that bank. If the reserves are empty, your body struggles. That's why seniors with low muscle mass are more prone to long recoveries, more infections, and longer hospital stays. But if you've been following what we've talked about so far, beef liver, leucine timing, insulin sensitivity, strategic eating, you're already rebuilding that reserve. You're not just improving strength and energy, you're literally fortifying your body's defense system from the inside out. And while we're at it, let's talk about something that often gets brushed aside: posture and gait. Weak muscles, especially in the lower body, quietly change the way you walk and stand. You might notice a slower pace, shorter stride, a tendency to shuffle instead of stepping fully. These are subtle signs of declining muscle function, and they increase your risk of falls dramatically. But the fix doesn't have to be complicated. Just rebuilding glute strength with basic movements. Chair squats, slow step-ups, hip bridges, paired with high-quality protein, makes a massive difference. Do these movements barefoot, if possible, to activate foot muscles and balance receptors. Pair that with just 10 minutes of walking after meals and watch your stability return. That's the power of combining smart movement with powerful nutrition. And for those wondering if it's too late, let me share this. Multiple studies have shown that even individuals in their 80s and 90s can build muscle when the right inputs are present. One study published in the Journal of Gerontology followed seniors in their 80s who engaged in light resistance training combined with a protein-rich diet. The results? Increased muscle mass, better balance, faster walking speed, and reduced need for mobility aids, all within 6 weeks. That's not a lifetime. That's not a decade. That's 6 weeks of intentional change. And they weren't lifting heavy weights. They were doing light, manageable movements paired with targeted nutrition. This isn't bodybuilding. It's body preserving. But let's not ignore another silent muscle killer: stress. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, a hormone that directly breaks down muscle tissue. You could be eating perfectly and doing all the right things, but if your stress levels are chronically high, your progress will be much slower. So don't underestimate stress management. Prioritize walks in nature, guided breathing exercises, even 5 minutes of meditation daily. Listening to calming music, connecting with loved ones, or keeping a gratitude journal. All of these lower cortisol and allow your body to enter a state where healing and rebuilding can actually happen. Remember, it's not just about doing more. It's about creating the right internal environment so your efforts actually work. And what about hydration? Another overlooked piece. Your muscle tissue is over 70% water, and hydration is essential for cellular energy, nutrient transport, and joint lubrication. Yet many seniors unintentionally dehydrate themselves by drinking too little throughout the day or relying heavily on tea or coffee, which are diuretics. A simple fix? Start your morning with 16 ounces of filtered water with a pinch of sea salt or a splash of lemon. Then aim to sip water throughout the day, especially around meals and during physical activity. If you're feeling sluggish or foggy, it might not be fatigue, it might be dehydration affecting your muscle and brain function. Now let's touch on another key nutrient that enhances muscle metabolism: magnesium. Specifically magnesium glycinate or malate. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those responsible for protein synthesis and muscle relaxation. Without adequate magnesium, you may experience muscle cramps, poor sleep, and even irregular heartbeat. And guess what? Older adults are often deficient. Include magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, almonds, and dark chocolate, or consider a well-absorbed supplement. Combine that with a consistent sleep routine, and your overnight recovery will vastly improve, allowing your muscles to repair and grow as you rest. Don't forget about vitamin D either. It's not just for bones. It plays a direct role in muscle contraction, immune function, and mood. Low levels are linked to frailty and falls in seniors. Get your levels tested and supplement if needed, ideally with a D3/K2 combo to enhance absorption and protect arteries. And try to get 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on your skin a few times a week if possible. Your muscle cells literally have vitamin D receptors. They need this nutrient to function at their best. And here's the deeper truth. When you regain your strength, something else magical happens. Your confidence returns. You begin to trust your body again. Tasks that once felt daunting become easier. You move more freely. You feel lighter, not just physically, but emotionally. Because losing strength often chips away at independence, and with it, our sense of identity. But when you take control, when you see your legs getting stronger, when you go for a walk and feel energized instead of exhausted, it changes everything. You no longer live in fear of slipping, falling, or needing help. You reclaim your rhythm, your energy, your momentum. Let's make this practical. Here's a weekly action plan. Twice a week, eat 3 to 4 ounces of grass-fed beef liver, or take freeze-dried capsules if that's easier. Daily, eat at least 2 meals with 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein, with 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine in each. Walk for 10 to 15 minutes after every meal. Do basic resistance movements, chair squats, wall push-ups, step-ups 3 times per week. Take magnesium glycinate before bed. Drink a full glass of water first thing in the morning and another before every meal. Add apple cider vinegar before lunch or dinner. Try a short fast overnight, 12 to 16 hours depending on your comfort level. Aim for at least 7 hours of consistent, quality sleep in a dark, cool room. And most importantly, breathe. Relax. Give your body the space it needs to respond. Because it will. Your body has not given up on you. It is waiting for the right message, the right signal, the right support. And now you know exactly what that looks like. You have everything you need to build strength again, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. You're not too old, too far gone, or too late. You're just getting started. Let this be the moment where you decide to reclaim your health, your strength, and your independence. Your future self, the version of you who can still dance, hike, laugh, travel, and thrive, will thank you for what you start today. And as you move forward with this journey, there's another piece of the puzzle that deserves your attention: your digestive health. Because no matter how perfect your protein intake is, or how precise your nutrient timing, if your digestive system can't break down and absorb those nutrients, your muscles won't benefit. This is especially important for older adults, since stomach acid production often decreases with age. And when stomach acid is low, protein isn't fully broken down, B12 isn't absorbed, and iron uptake drops dramatically. This leads to symptoms like bloating, fatigue, poor appetite, and ultimately, more muscle loss. One simple way to support digestion is by taking a small amount of apple cider vinegar or lemon water before meals. You can also consider digestive enzymes or bitters, especially if you notice gas or heaviness after eating. Chew your food slowly and thoroughly. Digestion starts in the mouth, and include fermented foods like sauerkraut or kefir a few times a week to replenish gut bacteria, which play a role in nutrient absorption and immune balance. A healthy gut is the gateway to healthy muscle, especially as you age. Another subtle but crucial factor is your breathing pattern. Believe it or not, the way you breathe can directly impact your muscle function, energy, and even your inflammation levels. Shallow chest breathing, common with stress or poor posture, limits oxygen delivery to your muscles and organs. Over time, this creates a state of low-grade tension in the body. But deep diaphragmatic breathing, especially through the nose, can increase oxygenation, lower cortisol, and even improve your sleep. Practice slow, nasal breathing for a few minutes each morning and before bed. Try a simple rhythm. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. You'll feel calmer, more grounded, and your muscles will get better oxygen delivery for recovery and performance. But let's not forget the importance of consistency. Building muscle and reversing years of metabolic decline doesn't happen overnight. But it doesn't take years either. It just takes a few weeks of showing up daily with intention. Think of it like tending to a small fire. You feed it with the right kindling, nutrients, movement, rest, hydration, and it begins to burn brighter. Miss a day or two, that's fine. Just come back to it. The key is not perfection, it's momentum. Each choice you make adds up. A few more steps today, a protein-rich breakfast, a better night's sleep. These things seem small in the moment, but they build the foundation for a stronger, healthier, more resilient you. You may also want to track your progress, not just with a scale or a mirror, but by how you feel. Can you stand up from a chair more easily? Are you walking further without tiring? Are you sleeping deeper? Is your digestion smoother? These are the real markers of progress. Keep a small journal if that helps. Jot down how your body feels week by week. You'll be surprised how quickly changes start to show when you tune in. If you live alone or feel isolated, consider finding a community, even online, that shares similar goals. Support and encouragement go a long way in staying consistent. You might even find a walking buddy, join a virtual wellness group, or follow someone inspiring who's living proof that aging doesn't have to mean decline. You're not in this alone. And the more connected you feel, the more likely you are to succeed. Long-term point, one last insight that can tie everything together: your purpose. When you have a reason to get stronger, whether it's spending more years with your grandkids, traveling, dancing again, or simply feeling proud in your body, it ignites something deeper. That internal fire. It keeps you moving even on days you feel tired or discouraged. So take a moment to define your why. Why are you doing this? What does a stronger version of you get to experience? Hold on to that vision. Write it down. Keep it in your heart. Because when the why is clear, the how becomes much easier. The truth is, muscle loss in old age doesn't have to be your reality. Weakness isn't destiny. Frailty isn't inevitable. You now have the tools to turn things around. You know how to nourish your muscles, repair your metabolism, improve your digestion, reset your hormones, and support your immune system. You understand that the timing, the quality, and the consistency of your choices matter. And more importantly, you believe now that your body still wants to heal. It's never too late to get stronger. You can feel steady on your feet again. You can wake up energized. You can walk further, lift more, and live better to as you step into the days and weeks ahead. Remember, your muscles are listening. Every meal, every step, every breath you take is a message to your body. And now you're speaking the language of strength. Keep feeding that fire. Keep moving forward. Because you're not done yet, not even close. Your best strength is still ahead of you.